Good morning. How are you, Kent? How's everything? Tickle, hi. Welcome back. How's the day going? How is the week? All of that? Things are weird. That's where I'm gonna leave this. Things are weird. Cybersect, hi. Can you see me? Is the question to you. I don't know. I don't know. If you can, then that's good. If you can't, you can. Holy shit. You telling me that the thing works? Oh my god. I'm good. Let me just check because I might have made a mistake. Knowing me. No, I'm good. So we are not on the um enhanced broadcasting anymore, meaning that you're supposed to be able to get 1080p. I don't know. We'll see. Which is pretty good, but also I attempted to change the OpenGL rendering to the metal rendering, and that breaks all the plugins. So I had to remove that and not do that. So yeah, um, that happens. So we'll see. But yeah, if that's working, if the stream enhanced broadcasting things is uh, good, then we're good. That's good news. That is good news. Oh, goddamn. Me without glasses, you can see me without glasses on TikTok at times. There are some posts that I'm making, but it really depends on the day. It depends on how I feel on said day. I usually have the glasses because, the eyebrows don't exist, and so the glasses, specifically these ones, are faking eyebrows, which helps with the face proportion stuff. So that's the reason. But yeah, we have some weird things. Um, I with the glasses, I don't need them anyway. Yes. Um, so yeah, I haven't been watching Twitch anyway, so I don't know exactly who else has the issue of like the 1000 hashtag 1000 error. I know that last stream on Wednesday, I was using last stream on Monday, I was using the regular selection of the server, so manually selecting France as the server for Twitch. Today, I'm using the automatic selection, so I don't know how it works, but I also see that it's not using the enhanced broadcasting, which is probably good, but I don't know. It really depends, and I never know what can happen, should happen, might happen. It's never. I'm never aware. Chris, hi, what's going on? How are you? I There might be a thing for you. One second. I saw that earlier today. I mean, we have a ton of things to talk about for today in terms of again, in terms of what is on Twitter specifically. If you haven't seen, this is what Xiaomi has announced yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. This is the Xiaomi 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, which instead of having a plateau in in the background, uh, they have a screen for the plateau and they have a case that goes in and get that. Well, you can't rewind on this stream anymore. You could last stream, but you can't this stream. The reason for that is that you are supposed to be able to rewind if I am doing the processing. And because today specifically we are not in the enhanced broadcasting, you don't have that ability. So yeah, but that's the thing. Yes. So this is pretty fun for me because this is an interesting concept, right? it's fine, it's interesting, it's fun, and so on. But specifically, the reason why I stayed here is because Ben is showcasing this as a wow, interesting kind of thing, and then Jack is saying that this is hands down the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And the reason why it's kind of funny for me is that that guy is the one that told me when I talked about Apple making a bad decision because he is officially a former Apple engineer. And it's, yeah, it's kind of fun because this is just, we are creating something new that is interesting for people. Um, and yeah, so yeah, um, that's the thing. So that's something. And for you, Grizz, I have something from. I guess it's going to be on my notification. It's going to be way faster. Um, it- that person is still hiring someone at 10K. So if you are someone that is interested in website design, and I know that you kind of are, you might be interested in like just sending them a DM or something. You know, 10K a month salary is pretty nice if you have the time. Um, I Why not? I don't know if you could, if you wouldn't, if you would, if you know. It's just yeah. But like if people rejected him and right now he is like available to pay someone, why not? Why not? The thing that was fun to me, and that's the reason why I said this, is like they've been posting that like 5 days in as a difference. Um, and in 5 days they found no one that they deemed cracked enough. And so, you know, eh, that means that most of the people that are on Twitter and posting on Twitter are kind of shit. So, yeah, you know, it happens. But yeah, that's the potential thing that maybe you could apply. At the end of the day, right? It it doesn't necessarily mean working for him for 4 years, right? It might just be you get paid 10K for one project because you stay 4 months. It's, you know, like I'm not I'm not against it. And most of the thing that I've seen from what he has created, I feel like Atakan is pretty good for the creation of these websites. This one is interesting as well because it has like these animated and stuff. And, I know that you're also someone that creates designs and stuff in some situations. So, and that's the only thing. That's the only reason. Like these are very simple. Again, none of these websites so far are extremely complex. It's just deciding and choosing the right thing to do. And this one is a total copy of Windsurf, based on the date. I'm debating that this is based on Windsurf, and it cracked might not be that cracked at the end of the day. It's just ensuring that you have enough illustrative, uh, you know, capabilities. But yeah, I don't know. Then good. Then good. It doesn't really matter. It's just like it was an option. Um, the thing is, from my point of view, if you have the the money to pay someone 10K and um 10K a month and expecting them to work 40 hours a week, it means that you have enough money to at least get them for 3 to 6 months, so they have enough leeway in front of them to pay that. So that means they are successful, which is good enough, at least good enough for me. But yeah, we have something. So I saved a lot of these as always because it happens. I have saved a ton of other things that I'm hoping that we can go through soon. And weirdly enough, something happened yesterday, I guess. Yes, yesterday, where Twitter and TikTok basically were serving me design content for fragrance. And I understand TikTok because TikTok, I'm talking about fragrances all the time. I mean, that's the only thing that I'm doing. But Twitter, I haven't mentioned it. I mean, I have mentioned it once, but that's it. So there is something in the air right now about fragrances. We stopped so far away. Holy hell. We stopped here. There was a cat right after. Um, yeah. I don't have on the Chinese app again. I don't have anything about perfumes on the Chinese, real Chinese app. So I have ass as always, but yeah, not a lot of perfume related content in there. It's just it's French related content, um, which you know is different, not necessarily good. um, so we'll see. There is a lot of good content around here. I guess this one is some sort of a perfume related, unrelated content. Um, because it's good. To be honest, it has like so much more interesting designs than the regular US based Pinterest. Like I'm getting content that is related to what I'm building or working with, and it's just good. It's good content. If I'm going into Pinterest, you're gonna see how bad it is, specifically now. Like I have nothing related to design work anymore. The algorithm got resetted for some reason, and I have like one website right here, one website right here. The rest is mostly things that are unrelated to me, even though every time I'm seeing things that I'm like absolutely not interested in, I just go not interested, and it doesn't work. Um, so it's um, it's a weird situation right now with Pinterest. I was praising Pinterest for a long time, and now I try to use Cosmo and Arena as well, but it just doesn't. It didn't cut it just yet. It will at some point, but I need to be like way more active in there in order to make them, you know, good. And so far, that's not the case. So, yeah. The good thing that I would say here is that most of the content that we are seeing here on the Chinese version of Pinterest is the fact that most of it is things that I can see on Twitter. But um, yeah, that's the issue. That's my issue with these platforms. That's my issue with Blue Sky. My issue with Arena is because it doesn't really have an algorithm that is feeding me things. Um, so yeah. Two. You have Arena right here, and then you have Cosmo there. They are interesting, but yeah. Eh. It's just there is something missing around here for me, and like yeah. The other one is what's their name? Briefs. Oh, I forgot that. That's true. Um, what's the name? What did we say? Reader. Reader. Row. Yeah. Dang. Um, this one is the other one that I'm kind of using, not really, but like I'm testing it out. It's a blockchain-based, creative-based platform, which seems interesting. Um, but yeah, it's just, I know we don't have my phone. It's not linked just yet. Um, but it's it's interesting. It has like a very nice design overall. It's very simple. It's based on tokens, so you can mark something as liked, or you can how they do they call that? Collect. You can collect things with your tokens, and then if you like something, it will grow and so on. So the more collection you get, the more remuneration you get, and so on. Um, it is shut down, yes. Doesn't mean that it's not available on your phone. The thing that they could have done instead of shutting it down would have been to simplify their system and use the onboard models instead. And that would have saved them. But apparently, they care about remuneration and so on. So yeah, this one is pretty cool. It's really nice to have like art and other pieces from creative that are doing real things. And then you can collect things. So we do like it, but it's also like, you know, not necessarily the most interesting app just yet. And it's also very much for creative and um, brain artist, not design, if that makes any sense. So yeah, we'll see if base comes in later, but I doubt it. Base is going to be potential. It's Coinbase wallets that potentially will have happened to be something similar to Cash App with what Rodeo is doing for the social parts, for art and stuff, because it's a crypto wallet. So it might, but eh, we'll see. It for now, I don't know. Anyways, um, so yeah, no. Overall, it's just I don't know if this one is going to be good, not good. It's just it has a nice design, it has a potential output, and to be checked. So yeah, I think it's a square. So, but yeah, kind of. They kind of did. But yeah, no, this is much better in terms of the content that I'm getting and the output that I'm getting. I save so much titties as always, but also so much things that people don't know about, like this phone, for example, which is from some years ago, which is thinner and slimmer than the newest iPhone Air. And this phone is very, very tiny, but it still has a headphone jack, still has a camera bump that is smaller. We have a very small screen compared to, you know, what we have now. But yeah, Vivo, some of I mean, this is the old logo, so it's been a while. And yeah, I mean, not that much, but yeah, like these things, for example, I'm not seeing this on Twitter, like these types of designs, even though this is not like mascot based and illustration based. It's an interesting overall layout compared to what we are expecting. So, just keeping that in mind and taking a look at things, always good. They are using a ton of AI generated rendering for most of the illustration lately, which is pretty interesting. again, patterns and things. And then this one from today is it's very similar to what I had in mind in the first place, and it works kind of the same way as cap words. So when you take a picture of something, it just extracts the object from the picture and then create the stickers, put it inside of a stamp, and it creates like a card. But yeah, it's pretty cute. It's a nice system. They have a ton of really small activities, illustration things, and we like it. Like specifically that the fact that they have two stamps designed, so you have the image at the top and then the cartouche underneath the description of the things, or you have it on the side. So I feel like these are really cute and really cool concept overall. It works mostly in Chinese and Japanese and Korean because you can read vertically and that's easier, but yeah. Anyways, it's cute. It is cute. So we are seeing a lot of really cool things. I guess the only thing that is good for me is going to be this, as I talked about on Wednesday for the illustration types. They are looking really good. The thing that I like about this one specifically is the fact that anything that is underneath the glass doesn't need to be detailed. And the top one is the only one that needs more detail than the rest. So having the pit, having a bit more details around the gradient on the edge is also something that is pretty cool to think about. So it's nice. It is nice. Anyways, so yeah, that was the release for today, which is really cool. I like the design of the phone much more than the iPhone 17 Pro, mainly because of the texture and the way that it looks. The screen at the back, I don't really care. But the phone itself, I feel like it looks better than the iPhone to an extent, even though if it just has two camera, I don't see the point of all of that. I would rather you give me a thicker phone than that. Some people in here were asking if these types of phones still exist, and these are really good. This is the form factor I wish we still had in terms of body shapes. So they are like a bit bumped and rounded and soft and so on, rather than sharp. So yeah, it's these are nice phones. I like them. But yeah, that screen is probably gonna get scratched-ish. It depends on who you are. Like, to be honest, this one is not really scratched. It's not a screen, but it's still like a glass thing, and it's fine. If you look at the iPhone, regular iPhone, like these ones, even though there is less activity around the cameras, if you have a case, you should be good. So, it's nice to see. It is nice to see. So yeah, going back to this because that's where we are for the beginning of the stream as usual. As usual, we had a cat. So, we talked about this quickly last time, so it doesn't really matter, but like these are really cool, these are new. A lot of people are doing these types of things that we've been doing for years now, but they are pretty good. They are missing some things. But it's nice. It looks pretty nice. There are some things that just don't make sense in terms of how the elements themselves are going to behave in real world situations. Some of the knobs, some of the faders just have mistakes, but these are like physical mistakes that you can't really predict. And if you look at the way that the selection gauge is stopping, it is not aligned, and that's such a small detail. If you look closely, the needle that is selecting the point itself is going into the center of the point, so the exact situation, the exact point is correct. Let me bring that here. The needle itself is basically doing a 45. Let's say 45 is going to be fine. And it's doing this, which is fine. It has rounded tips, kind of, so you're good with that. But then if you do what they were doing, which is basically this, that's going to be kind of wrong. Because of the way that things are, the the center of the needle is going to reach the center of this point, and the way that they have placed it makes it look as if that point was basically here. Again, it's a very small detail. It doesn't really matter, but it's right there. You can see how unaligned it look by the fact that it is a different size. The white ones are fine. These ones are pretty good, but the top one is kind of off center, or yeah, off center. So small detail. I do like the design nonetheless. So yeah, we've seen that. This one was pretty cool, and apparently Montblanc has created like a digital pen tablet things. I'm guessing with Remarkable, or at least in partnership with Remarkable. If that's not the case, I don't know how they figured it out, but it looks interesting. The video presentation is really well made, and because it's e-ink, it just works all the time. So we do like it. It's a very nice concept with very nice outputs. So yeah, cross keys, huh? Work on it. It's just e-ink. E-ink be good. If you do, I mean, if you're probably drawing as always, but Remarkable is a very good tablet, and specifically the texture and the feel of the paper-like things is really impressive for what it is. But yeah, um, one 140. I'm going to take a look at that. So yeah, no, overall it's pretty good, but that's the reason why I'm saying it might be a Remarkable slash Montblanc collaboration, because they look really similar to some of the thing that they have done, like this one, pretty close. So yeah, we'll check. We'll check that. One. You say 140? 114? Or 1 hour 14? I guess it's 1 hour 14. That's your thing, right? That's very French. I don't have sound though. So that's not a thing. Um, if it's visual, I can see things. If it's not, I don't know. Right now we just have fucking dots. I wouldn't say anything positive right now. In terms of visuals, there is nothing visuals in there. It's good filming. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's a bit too much. But I get it specifically for what is supposed to be the music in the background. Yeah, no. I would say what I mean, specifically, right? Um, I I have seen so many videos that are like filmed the exact same way for sports related things, for um, esports related things, but yeah, I'm not saying that it's bad, just saying that nothing really blow my mind. Um, that's a good transition. That's the first thing we've seen that is a good transition. But yeah, it's the same as regular high quality recordings. Um, to me, it doesn't really change or is different than some of the latest video that we've seen. You probably have seen that pass through your feed on here because that's where it is right now. But um, what is that? There, you know, you've seen this, right? You've seen that intro, and that intro is really impressive in the terms of what they have created as a YouTuber, as you know, someone that is just creating video for themselves. It's just good. And again, as a YouTube presentation, home like first entry intro to the video type of situation, the production quality is really good. And so that alone is already really interesting. Again, it doesn't blow me away. I have seen similar video in the past, and most of the things that they have built is really, really good. It's just that I am desensitized to these types of things because it's just to my understanding, nothing. That's the sad part. There hasn't been anything lately that has blew me away in terms of visuals, and we talked about that before. Um, I think there was one thing, but yeah, when I went to the Apple Store, by the way, to let's call that or stop that. When I went to the Apple Store lately for the AirPods issues, um, I held the iPhone Air. It's really good. It's very much a piece of jewelry and not a piece of hardware. Like it looks amazing. It was hot as fuck. Um, but it didn't really blow me away. I I don't know. I feel like there is some thing, and we talked about it on stream 3 to 4 weeks ago, and I forgot. Um, but it's just based on visuals, right? I specifically for websites and apps and things, I am so much used to stuff like Unicorn Studio that gives us the ability to have like visuals that looks amazing in 3 clicks without really having to think about it. The fact that we have motion design stuff that is really, really good. And it's not that I'm never satisfied, it's just that I've seen stuff. And I've seen so much that it it doesn't stand like anything. Like it's just cool. It's the same as usual. I would say that's the thing. Even the yeah, no, that is the situation. Um I was kind of blown away by um the gym that he made. If you've seen that, that's really impressive, or that was really impressive. Um like that that gym video is really, really good for, or from a YouTuber point of view or standpoint, the fact that you have the ability, or he has the ability to, build something uh, from the ground up with like good material, apparently, and also good branding, where everything is green and you have the logo every time, and you have um, like everything in there, and that's his personal gym. I was kind of blown away by that. The fact that the all the machines are the same colors, all the machines are branded, they all seems to be pretty good. That's impressive. Is it visually impressive in terms of design and the video itself? Nah. Do I still like it? Yeah. But yeah. Um Everything that as he said, everything that is in there is uh bought by himself, by his own money and so on. No sponsored gifted machines and so on, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't think there has been like a lot of things lately in my feed where I'm like, that's really impressive. Um, I'm thinking, but I feel like we talked about something, but I'm like, doubt. I doubt. Um, yeah, no, this one blew me away. Um, this one was great for many reasons, but this one was great. Not really, but yeah, that the fact that an an AI generated this in July of this year kind of blew me away for the quality of the output, the the fact that most, if not all, of the elements are properly respecting their sizes, their placements, their transitions, their stuff. There is some morphing. Obviously, if we go frame by frame, you can see it perfectly on the chair, on this thing. But overall, this one kind of blew me away. Um, which I was right. It was like 2 to 3 months ago. Uh, and this, again, this one is like 3 months ago. So I'm guessing that person that has created this video is probably also working on other things and experimenting with other AI tools and stuff. And that might be the most interesting thing to see, like how well things can be created right now. Like to me, that is impressive. There are some glitches, there are some issues, there are some things that are not human-like when it comes to proportions here and there, but it's really impressive. But that's it. Like other than that, uh, not not much, not much. Anyways, anyways, moving on. So this one has been added, as we just said. We now have video export on Unicorn Studio, but now they also have a paid tier, and that pissed me off because it was free. But I get it, but it was free, and now it's not, so that's kind of sad. Um, yeah, that's the usual thing. Specifically, right now, most of the people that are building with AI are just creating the automation that any other tool have in order to make sure that they stay relevant, but they are not really innovating with AI and other LLMs and things like Dot was doing. Dot specifically was the only one model, kinda, not really, that had like an internal system that was taking information about your surrounding, your environment, what you said in the past and basically came back to you every day to give you a bit of a hint of, oh, we talked about this and there is this happening next to you. Maybe it would be a good thing for you to just check it out. Like the fact that I don't check dot all the time means that you, goddamn, that's crazy. Um, it's not necessarily going to be really good, but like all of these, which I'm not participating with dots. Like I have tried in the beginning to have some conversation and stuff, and then after here, he just like prompted me to do things all the time, and I never really looked at it. But yeah, the fact that there was a specificity with my location and activities or art museum thing that we're opening um, at that time, that's a bit of a new and interesting implementation, but most people are not doing anything creative just yet. So, yeah. Um, as always, Cat with a K is doing a lot of visual implementation of her hand gesture tracking and all of these. These are good and related to the thing that we talked about on Wednesday. So, yeah. This one was nice as a video composition, but it looks like a lot of these shots are looking really close to what Microsoft did and what Google Gemini did as well. Um, so I don't mind it. It's a very nice looking video. I like the color scheme. It's very pastel, as I will reassess again. We are in the pastel scheme. But they're doing a good job with it. The animation is really good. It is more organic. It has more textures. It has more, well, organic shapes, obviously, to ensure that the human part in us is feeling that this is not an AI generated video, even though it might be. I don't know. But yeah, they want to make sure that this feels organic or as organic as possible. So that's interesting. We'll see. Um, yeah, that's I mean, it's the only option we have right now. Image recognition is just going to be, well, there is something in the picture. And so, yeah. So these illustration comes back as well. This is like similar to what I've built as a template for my app in the beginning, but then I switched it. This is what we call Tokyo illustration, black and white, or basically two colors. And very linear, very similar, and very thin environment, which helps. That's pretty cool. This one was interesting. These are the LEDs of the sphere in Las Vegas. So the whole sphere is basically not a screen, but it's a screen. It's just the LEDs are very big. And I didn't think about that when I saw the sphere the first time. Not in real life, but like, you know, I didn't think it was like that big, but it seems to be like the size of my head. So when you're close to it, you don't see details, you just see blobs. So that's the thing. We talked about Dear Boy a while ago because it's a very interesting tool, but it has more things now, which is interesting. They have a very good presentation. I think this is mostly for techie because of how things are, the cat and so on. But it's a very interesting tool and software for creating dithering wherever you want. And yeah, it's a nice tool. It's not that expensive. Like $40 is not that expensive. You buy it once, you get it. We support these things. These things are good. And they're creating like a lot of presentation visuals so that you can see exactly how things are used and so on. So we like it. Moving on. Moving on. This one was fun. for no reason. And I had like a very similar experience, not that glitchy, but like a very similar. I know exactly what happened. Um, Apparently, liquid glass doesn't like things rotating inside of it. So if you have a glass container and you have an element inside of it that just rotates, the container itself is going to expand or weirdly move. And if you rotate the container as well, you end up with something that is absolutely unstable like this. So it's I don't really understand what we can do and how we can make things make sense. But at some point, it will be fine. At some point, I will get it. That's not for today. This one was nice. It make me think that they have used the exact same code that I've been using for the card swipe, with a bit more um, cards and effects. But it's nice. It looks neat. It's a simple thing. Um, we've had this going back to what we talked about on Wednesday about Apple level products. Specifically, that first thing, that first, that's a pen, and just that first shot is kind of crazy. So, you know, I don't know exactly if it's good or bad, but that's the Apple level product situation related similar to the vacuum cleaner that we talked about. Um, I kind of know what they do in terms of how they work. It's similar to some of the thing that I've worked on or worked with before Remarkable was something. So they had a pen which had like a magnet type of situation on the needle, and then you could basically scan exactly what the user was doing on paper. So you had like a transcript of exactly the thing from the physical paper to a display in no time, just because it scanned the content. And so now this is like inside off. So you have all of your notes in the app. It's pretty cool of a concept, but it's also like, we've seen that. Grace, going back to what I just said, this concept right here, right? That is basically a pen. You can use it on a piece of paper and it translates exactly to an app on your phone, is something that I've seen and used in 2013. And now these people are saying that this is the first AI device that remembers what you write, which maybe, but it's also marketed as like a pen that can write on paper and then you have the content on an Notes app somewhere. That's something that I've seen from 10 years ago. So I'm not really impressed or blown away by what they have made, just because I'm like, yeah, we know that. We have that. We've been having that. I've been not using that, but I've helped some of the people that have built some of the first version in 2013. So I'm not impressed. That is one of the reasons why I'm like, not blown away. Not blown away at all. This one is pretty interesting and a bit of a tale of, uh, as they say in the title, the era of gradient and bitch suppose. Gradient and flashy bento grids is kind of over. I think some of the designers are kind of fed up with it, so I get it. But the new cursor website is really much simple, like very, very simple. There is no animation, there is no like fluffy things. It's that simple. When you have a section for feature, it's a section for feature. Like you have the text, the image, that's it. It doesn't move. It doesn't have like sub animations or something. Like the images, yes, but like the text itself doesn't. And that's just minimal enough to help you understand what the thing is doing. So that's pretty interesting. I think it's a shift from current trends, current environment and things, and now what we're trying to achieve, which is a bit um, less flashy, more personal, more organic, human made, and so on. So we'll see. This one was nice of a transition, but that's also something that is a me thing. This is just a hint of pastel, you know. Um, Post hog. I don't know if I know. Yeah, that's the organic human made thing. So that again, there is no flashy interface. It's just it's a website, and shit that could have been working, but yeah, I mean that's really similar to um, again what trash dev has done, and every time I can't find it. Um, but yeah, these are fun stuff. The fact that you can fucking resize the fucking window, god damn, like holy hell, no one would. But other than that, like that makes sense. 30 high. We'll call it in 210. God damn. Yeah, like a regular Windows machine is gonna do, which makes sense. Which makes sense. But yeah, I mean, same as this one. Trash Dev used to do Mac OS instead, and it's interesting, but that's it. Like, that's to me, that's the thing. It's just, it's a very nice concept. You are getting something that is working, that does the job, that has personality, and it's not a novelty. I'm gonna go back to what I said a second ago. I have seen 16 of these over the years, and with different OS, different versions, different apps, and so on. And they are really good. And the first one was interesting to me. I'm not gonna lie. The first one was like, wow, I'm blown away. And the second one, I was like, yeah, wow, cool. That's the same as the other one. And the third one, I was like, oh god, another one. It's just to me, they are at the level of oh fuck, another one. Um, they are well made though. Like I'm not gonna lie, these are really good. The content is really well made. The websites are really well made, and so on. Um, but also, yes, you're right on that point. Um, Dual meanings. But yeah, like that's it's fun. That's it. I do like them. It's just it doesn't change much. But yeah, I like that concept. You know, nice concept. Nice hair. Yeah, it is for the meme. It's the same as uh, the Captain Marvel website, which I don't know if it's still up. Yeah, you know, that one. Like that's such a a very bad yet good website from a long time ago, and then you can interact with it. You can punch the scrolls. Um, you know, God damn it, God damn it. that's that's fun, but that's fun because we, as old as me, not that old, but as old as me, these are the websites that I used to go to, or these are the websites design that I used to go to, and it's interesting. Yeah, it's based on the movie. It's based on where the tech was at the time, and it's based on things that we all have been used to, which was really good. Um, but yeah, yeah, I kind of tried with these, not exactly good enough, but I kind of tried with the fuck counter and the others, which apparently I need to do that by hand now. But like these tags specifically, um, you know, I kind of tried to have the janky design, but yeah, I would say the Figma itself is kind of uh, more complex to do. Techie, hi, welcome on in. Welcome back. I have some things for you underneath there. How's your day going? So that happened, and then that was nice. That's it. Uh, you know, I think right now the only janky thing is just going back to MS Paint. Like that's the only option that we have, and even then, the MS Paint that we used to have are not as janky as before. Like it's still really clean. The newer version is really, really nice. So you would need to get like an old Windows or an old Mac to be able to get access to software that haven't been updated yet, because they are not supported by the newer version and so on. But yeah, again, as I said, the blingy um, graphics have been closed down, and I'm really sad about it because. Eh, Mizzy, hi, welcome in. How are you? How's the day going? How's the perfume experiments going? So yeah, I'm really sad about it. I was um what do you mean was? What do you mean you don't know what blingy is? Holy shit. Oh no. Uh, these are blingy design. These are the gifs and gifs that we used to do, specifically the shiny roses and the kisses and the things that we use on MSN. Shit like that. God dang. God dang. Look at that. Ah. So yeah, after 17 years, they decided to close, and I'm sad about it. Um, the reason why I'm sad about it is because this one, the maybe section that I have on the ending section, I wanted to have that as a blingy text, and when I went on vacation, I wanted to have like a blingy text in here instead, and I couldn't because they closed. So I'm really sad about it. I was really sad about it. Um, so you know, it happens. It happens. Yeah, I mean, as they say, right? They are moving to a new app and a new system, which gives you something similar, kinda, but it's way too high quality for what it is, right? You end up with the creation of like particles and things that are based on the same concept that they used to have, but ah, not entirely. So it's kind of bad,
Hekig
kind of
just
sad.
gifted 20 subs.
Why? Goddamn. Ah, thanks a lot for the subs. I appreciate it. Who did you get? Because that's the question. You're gonna break the stream. That's that's what happens with that much of a mess. Appreciate it though. I turned into a slideshow again. Let me just wait for a second. Um, you got Alan. Good job. Aiden. Good job. Fresh. Long time ago. Purper. Interesting. Aaron. Prime Coder. Interesting. Iron. Gray. PTZ. Vinny. Grizz. Interesting. Roz. Uh, Cheros. Crosskeys. Josh. Logi. Kira. Marcel. Telmek. Telmek? Goddamn. And Ponce. Thanks a lot for the subs. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Why though? You just want to have this number high at 36. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Um, I'm thinking about that. I can't remember. I mean, I kind of can, but I can't remember. Um, because yeah, that's the only thing that I can receive money on. So yeah. Also, why do we have a hype train at level 5 already? That makes no sense. Um, a new yard. Yes. Again, thanks a lot for the subs. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That was crazy from a CPU, apparently. That old forum where everybody had an anime avatar and you could buy clothes for. Is it Second Life that you have in your head, or is it Habbo? Um, nope. Oh, Gaia. Gaia. Oh, Gaia's old. Gaia is old. I mean, you can give me some crypto, Techie, if you are into crypto. um, yeah. Yeah, they changed that logo, but obviously. I mean, that looks really similar to some of the first, again, website that I've built. So it means that it hasn't been updated in a while, and my computer is kind of freaking out right now based on the fans. So I'm gonna just move out because it makes no sense to stay there. But yeah, um, it could be fun. Um, yeah, I guess we will have like a ton of these. These were fun. I don't think I had close. I think I had close as in the free tier and the only one that you are gifted with in the beginning. I had some hair, if I remember correctly, but yeah. I guess the transition for me was in between this or going from this to um oh brain. No. The version from Snapchat. Or that has been acquired by Snapchat afterward. Um that is not Memoji, but it's the other one, and I forgot. Uh Bitmoji. Dang. That's the transition, I would say. That's the thing. Thanks a lot for the hype train. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Just redeem that, because we can. But yeah, like that's kind of bad. But it's the same thing. When we transitioned from this to this, it was kind of bad, but then it expanded, and now it's just 3D. Um, it's the same as holy shit. There is a Korean version that I have that um do I have this? No. Uh, yeah, I have like another. I have tried so many. So yeah, holy shit. No, Bitmoji was from Bitmoji, and then Snapchat acquired them to have access to them inside of Snapchat, and then um I think that's it. And then they kind of died without really dying, and I forgot where they are right now. So yeah, it's been a while. Um, right now, if you haven't seen, TikTok is doing the same thing. We have internal avatars things that are used right now, and they are AI generated through an image. The thing that is kind of weird is that you can't, or sorry, you can use an image of whoever you want if you wanted to. So you can create or find a picture of someone that you like or don't like, and then use that image to generate emojis for your account, and then that's the emojis that are going to be used. So yeah, it's just weird. Um, it's just weird. I don't think I'd be able to find this. Let me check. You know, um, 2 million on this. God damn. Let me see. I'm gonna potentially that will help. Potentially. Potentially not. Yeah, probably not. Mm. I wish I had brain for names, to be honest, because goddamn, that would be useful right now. Just to, remember uh, the names of things, but no, apparently that is not a thing I can do. So, so no. But basically there is like another Korean avatar binding things, and I forgot. Um, and I just need a search. And when you search, you find it. God damn. It's called Zepeto, and I have some of these as well, but And they are really good when it comes to what they are creating and so on. You end up with an output that is mostly looking like you. If I'm going into um, like my own Instagram, because I have some of them in there in the past. God damn. Right about here. Yes. So these ones, for example, were pretty good for creating avatars, and they are really nice. They were really nice for something that is from 2018, and they kind of match. You know, like when you have this and then you go from this to this, it makes sense. It's just automated, not automated, but like it's pretty much working. So we do. Zbedo is pretty nice as well for avatar creations, but it's the same thing as Second Lives, and now the newest. What's the fucking name? Oni? No, Onyo? No, not that. Uh, there is a new Korean game. Again, it's Korean. That's kind of crazy that everything is Korean. What's the name? I do have it. Well, I did have it. I don't have it anymore. God damn it. Sad things. Sad things. Anyways, that's the that's where we are. That is where we are. Moving on. This was interesting for anyone that is into AI and Figma and design and stuff. Apparently, if you're using the Cloud Code CLI things and you install Figma in there, it will install and pull out some sort of a design system based on your file. So if you have a file with the design system, you can install Figma MCP on that Cloud Code things, meaning that after that, it will use or reference each and every single components you have made and designed into your Figma file. So that's a pretty good thing. That's basically what I've been talking about that I want the AI to do, because it's just like you train yourself in building things like yourself, and then um, after that you uh, yeah, after that you just get something that is related to your design. So that makes sense. I don't know. Today is kind of weird though. Again, I don't know. We are supposed to be in 1080 today. It's supposed to be good. We are not in enhanced broadcasting again. So that's nice. But the fact that you can't um, downgrade or upgrade is kind of sad. Yeah, at least it works today. I think it was like an OBS issue. The 31.1.2 was breaking my Mac, and now that I'm 32, or on OBS 32, it's working. So that's neat. That is neat. Um, these were really cute. I don't really know exactly like their prompting and their specific text used to achieve that kind of output. I feel like there are some of these that are related to some of the images that we know of the dog. Like I've seen that dog before for sure. But then again, the output is really nice. It looks cute. It's similar to the previous version that he had, but yeah, I like it. I like it. Going back to the live 2D things from last time, this one is pretty impressive as well. In terms of leg placements, potential like realisticness of that rigging. That's the word. God damn. Um, so yeah, it's really nice. I do feel like Live 2D is really, really good. And again, going back to what you said last time, the fact that it's now open source, it's pretty cool. Um, and the complexity, but also the output potential is really, really good. I feel like there is a very high potential for this tool to be used in animation for rigging purposes inside of things like Unreal Engine or something to, I don't know, create characters and play with them and create some idle animations of characters during games. So, yeah, everything is really, really organic. I do like it. I do like it. This is the thing that Kane talked about last time, which is pretty cool. So I saved it as well. Um, what? Yeah. Apparently now I have a easier time to get partner. I don't. I'm closer to get monetization on YouTube than partner on Twitch. That's the truth. We are like 45 followers away from monetization on YouTube. Appreciate it. If you haven't followed the channel yet, please just go do that. Yeah, it's free. But yeah, the fact that you now need to only stream 6 times per month instead of 8 times per month makes no sense to me. Okay, do that in 2 weeks. So yeah, that one was for you, Techie, specifically, as always, because it's blue and because it has the pill shape and so on, and small like micro interactions for the bolt and the shiny. I just see post about the Reddit thread with the Photoshop UI designer. I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Do you have it? Do you have the link? Please share the link. I may have, but I may have not. I may have not. This one is really, really cool and mostly for me and for the app itself, right? To have something in the background that is interactive and works with where you put your finger while you're scrolling. The thing that I have a very hard time with right now is the fact that for this instant, my current background is pulling so much strand on my GPU, on the phone. So right about here, that screen, specifically that screen, the particles are basically making my phone hot as fuck, and the background as well. And so if I had something else on top of that to have finger touch related tracking and so on, I feel like the phone would explode. So I'm gonna not do that. All right, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. But yeah, we have no news for this, by the way. That's why we didn't talk about it. I need some help with Super Bass, but that's I'm gonna figure it out at some point. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it. Moving on. The thing that I was talking about from Marcin last time and their creation for shapes that are not really rectangles, but still rectangles, and other shapes for the games and the thing that they are building. This is really cool. It changes from the usual. I like the illustration they have. I like most of their iconography for that design concept, things, game that they are building. And everything they have is really, really nice. If you haven't, as always, follow them and gave them like a bit of a lookout on what they have on their profile. Like everything that is in the media section is really good. Most of these icons are really, really nice. And there is like so much development and research and things. Everything is made in Rive. So I don't know if the design is made in Figma and then they do the animation in Rive, but it's really interesting to see. I guess it's Figma based. And yeah, it has potential. It has really cool potential ID for the outputs. Some of them are like, to me, old design, but that goes back to what Krosky was saying earlier. This is the jankiest design we can have right this instant. We don't have much more than this. We can only create things inside of tools like Rai, Figma, Framers, and then play with that and hope for the best. But it's really, really nice. The illustration are really, really cool. And the output is, pretty nice. Pretty nice. So, yeah, just check them out. Check them out. Mm. So I have beef with that guy for that's the first thing that you need to know before I say anything. I have a lot of mistrust with what he's posting and the way he's presenting content. But that's a me thing. And yeah, I don't have the sound right now, so I don't know what he's talking about. I have no fucking clue. Yeah. If that's the thread in question that they have been talking about, like this thing, bitch, get out. Um, mm, mm, mm. Yeah. I mean, if they, I'm gonna rephrase that in my head before it comes out. I don't know what Gary's saying. I'm probably thinking that he's saying the same thing as me because we have similar viewpoints at times, obviously. Um, but that's something that I've been saying for a long time. The best design tool is the design tool that works for you. So if you are prominent and efficient in Figma, use Figma. If you are efficient in Photoshop, use Photoshop. If you only know one tool, that's a bit of an issue. But you need to at least know the other ones to potentially be able to uh, like jump ship, do something else, attempt something different, and so on. And so right now, the fact that I would say someone like me, I would be left on the sideline if I didn't really know how to use Figma. The the reason why I'm good at my job, kinda, it depends on the day. You take that as you want, is because I learned the tools when they came out. So I was in Photoshop before it was called Photoshop CS something, right? Um, I was in Illustrator at the same time, and then I moved to Sketch when it was like some of the first versions. Then I moved in Figma in 2017, 2018, when it's like Figma came out in 2016. So like it has like just 2 years of development in for the masses and so on. So I learned the new tools, or at least I try to test them as soon as I can, so that I can then see the improvement. Going back to what I was on a second ago, Unicorn Studio in the beginning, when I just started to potentially use it, was limited compared to what we currently have. And the limitation makes sense because right now we have the paid tier and so on. That simplicity of me now being able to go into, let's say I'm going into this one, and better understand how things are going to work, how things are going to behave and interact with each other, simply by being on the first to test things out, give me a bit of an advantage. So the curiosity, as you said, like the TLDR being like you're not a real designer if you are just doing your UI in Photoshop. I think you are not a real designer if you are not curious enough by the other tools. But then again, you are a real designer if you're designing things. So if you design stuff, even if it's on pen and paper, and then you scan the thing and you cut it out in Paint, and you use that in a website, that might be a very designer things to do. So probably more of an artist things to do rather than a designer things to do, but you get my point. So yeah, for me, god damn, I clicked on the thing. um, for me, I feel like yeah, cool. I had a bit of sound. um, yeah, the comments probably like the most important thing, I would say. I'm guessing the thread on Reddit is probably out now. That's also a thing that going back to what we have right here, right? That's a great screenshot. um, yeah, I mean, at least we have the post and then we have the comment section. What I would say for someone like this, it's basically in the same realm as me, which is with that amount of experience, you are not a designer anymore. You are a consulting designer. You are a consultant. You are someone that has the knowledge and the experience to help someone else, another team, a company, to build things faster with a better thinking system because you go faster in your head as a designer, or at least you should, than most people. And so, if right now you are looking for a job, which apparently is their case, and you can't find a job because you need to know Figma, that's an issue on your resume, or at least on the way that you are presenting yourself to companies that you are applying to. Like, I would probably, and that's what I'm doing, I am not looking for the UI UX jobs anymore. I'm looking for the design manager position, the person that is going to help the team go better or go faster, do better in the right direction, rather than doing and making decision for the work itself, like the pixel pushing and so on. So, from my point of view, that person just needs to have a rebranding of themselves because after 13 years, you have enough experience to basically direct a team, or at least you should, I hope. And you should have enough understanding of what is supposed to happen to become some sort of a good manager because you can manage the designers that are under you and just help them do other things. If you don't have the skills for the tools, you can have the skills for the people that are supposed to do things. So going back to what we had last time on the stream, you had something and I did something in Figma in like 3 seconds, and you were like, how the fuck did you do that? How do you quick fill? I was like, yeah, that's just how you do it. So I help you and I give you a bit of a hint and then you move faster from there. So yeah, no, but it can make you like this example is almost true, Kane. The uh The knife maker doesn't know how to cook, but they might know how to preserve the knife itself. And so they might be a great assistant for the chefs and say, if you use soapy water, it's good. If you use something that is acidic, like you cook or you chop lemons a lot, make sure to have like an ice bath, or make sure to have a neutral solution on the side to make sure that it's not corrosive to the blade and so on. And that's the experience of the blade maker. So from my point of view, I know how to use the tool, I know how to make the tool, and therefore I can help you do better decision. Um, but yeah, that's the thing. Like it to me again here, it's probably like just a mindset shift for them to just say, well, I used to do that. I used to build website for 13 years. I've built them in Webflow, meaning that they have Webflow skills, so they just need to be finding a job that requires Webflow and nothing else. But also the probability, again, in my knowledge, that they have the knowledge to build like a converting landing page, good SEO ranked page or blog or things based on the design and so on, is probably higher than most people. So it's just a rebranding on their side. Um, and also, Grizz, don't worry about it. I appreciate you being here. Subs are not mandatory, obviously. So yeah, but yeah, um, that's the thing. And then you said that you feel like designers have been very mean recently. Designers have been the meanest crowd and the most open crowd at the same time. It's like the design community on Twitter in 2015 was crazy good and open and willing to help. And that's basically where I come from, and that's why I'm still helping. And then um, and then something happened, and people started to create designs that were all the same without any creativity and without any character, I would say. And then people started to get mean. And I'm gonna say something that is probably true, but I have no data to back that. But that's what I felt happened. A lot of people from India and from Africa have been accessing the internet and like entering spaces that were predominantly white. And the people in there didn't like that at all. So that's also something that happens, and it's really sad. The amount of time that I've seen designer community being really good, and then there is a girl asking a question that doesn't go through. There is a guy that is not white that doesn't go through, and that's really sad. So it happens. It's fine. We'll move past it at some point, but yeah, that's a thing to keep in mind as well. I Yeah, I mean, it's this. I guess it goes the same way. The fact that basically the Fiverr market happened, and the Fiverr market was dominated by India. A lot of designers that were losing their potential jobs to Indian designers that are good. That pissed them off, and so there was a combination of both. As in, the Indian designers were willing to do things for a fifth of the price because that's way more for them, and they are as good, if not better, at times. So yeah, um, That's a very interesting. The Nigerian designers are really really good, and one of the realm of designers that no one talked about, and right now it's kind of um, complicated. But the Ukrainian designers are really good, or technically now were really good. Which is kind of sad, but yeah, yeah, that's also a true thing. That is also a true thing. I can get behind that. In a way, my position on dev is specific because I'm not one. Still, Stony, not a dev. Um, didn't change, and I'm limited in my understanding, so don't worry about it. But um, there are not 16 ways to do a very specific thing, like creating a button on an HTML page. You don't really have 16 way to do that, right? You can create a div and make it click. Not good. You can use a button element and you have a button. You can add an image and make it click. And that's roughly it. Like you could create a CSS blocks and so on, but like that would be kind of complicated. You can create a component, but it's the same thing. In design, if you wanted to create a button, you can design the thing how much you want. As the at the end of the day, it's just a thing that is clickable, and so you can have more creativity. And so, from my point of view, the like the problem from the shitty teachers is like kind of weird to me because it's just you want this to happen, you have like four options. It can go through a very linear path, it can go through a multi-path, or it can go through something else. And you know, that's the option. In the design industry, it's mostly like you do whatever the fuck you want as long as it's clickable. We're good. So, um, like that's the thing. I know that most of you as devs will probably tell me that there are some creativity in devs, which I agree. There are some workarounds and problem solving that needs to happen anyways, but it's a bit of a different situations than visual problem solving because the visual stuff has so much more variables, if that makes any sense. So you have the shape, the colors, the sizes, um, the behaviors, the rendering, the textures if you have textures, the sound if that's a thing that is available in the projects, and so on. Whereas in the code, you can either do, I'm going to use a very, very simple thing. All right. You can use a container, or you can use a div, or you can use a span, or you can use like a P or a span or something to make the thing happen. Like you are limited in the amount of tools that you have. At the end of the day, you can do whatever the fuck you want. As always, it's the exact same output as the design, but it's just for the sake of the argument, it is limited. But yeah, um, let me read that. You said something and then I missed the end. Um, yeah, that last point of give me $200 and I will give you a website in 2 weeks. Yes, but also, is it good? Does it work? Does it do the job at the end? If that's the case, then I'm fine with it. Um, yeah, we have some people that have been in chat before, um, that are specifically talking about the fact that they are like really contributing to open source, um, and eh. But the fact that it's like a how much contribution you have and how much things got approved. It's also a thing. But yeah. So no, to answer the question at the beginning, no, I haven't. I did not see this when I saw another one. Um, but I'm also not on Reddit that much. I need to, to be honest. Um, I think there is probably like a lot of comments in there that are pretty good, and goddamn, there is a lot. There is probably a lot of people that have been kind of dunking on that person. Um, but yeah, Mm. Yeah. That's, I mean, this is this very similar thing as how to get $1,000 quick. Buy my course for $100, and as long as you have 10 people buying said course, you good. So yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen that before. Again, going back to this thing, Figma is great, but also Figma right now is losing ground, and at least to me, it's kind of uh, taking a kind of turn to where they used to be on designer focused to broadening this to designer to devs to illustrators, which is good. Um, but eh, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I need to pee. 1 second. I I kind of did. I disagree though. I feel like they are okay. I know he doesn't like the sound. They do have, at least mine, they have um like a hiss. They there is something I feel like that is feeding like a hiss in transparency mode, which used to not happen. And then someone else mentioned something that is pretty impressive, is that the AirPod Pro 2, when you shake the case, nothing happens. And with the 3, when you shake the case and they are in there, the things rattle in there. So there is like the fit is not right. And it look as if the overall housing, based on the fact that the buds themselves are a bit different, again, going back to that video specifically that you talked about, they do have um, like such a smidge of a different shape that, yeah, um, I I don't think they are that worth it, the I the reason why I got the threes is because the twos that I have broke on stream last time. The right ear was basically feeling the sound at 200% at times, and so without any warnings, just blasting me off. So I had to replace them. I could have bought like the twos, but I'm just, they were there. It's the same price. Doesn't really matter. I do love the twos. Like if your AirPods Pro 2, bitch, are in good condition and they don't have any issues, keep them. They are really good. The only thing that you have on these that you don't have on the twos is the heart rate monitor, which makes absolutely no sense. I have one here. I have my watch, and I have my heart rate monitor for, my blood pressure. So yeah. Other than that, it's not worth it. It is not. So yeah. And then headphones, cross keys, yes, but also no. I kind of disagree. They are good, but yeah. I don't think budget headphones are like right now, from what I know, most of them are roughly the same price as the AirPod Pro. Like the the only option that you have for good headphones that are going to give you good noise cancelling is going to be the god damn it, HM? No. Uh, eh, I'm gonna just do M4s because it's gonna be way faster. The M4s are the best option. So these are going to be the cheapest version because they are like 2 generation past their newest processors. They have the best fit, they have the best canceling, and they have the best overall sound. The bows from the same era are similar, but they are not like the design itself is kind of not my type. Depends on who you are, and I like the touch sensitivity on the headphones, so that's why I'm going with that. There is like a new, or there is one that I like, but you will have a very hard time to find. And this is the Surface headphones 2 or 1. I forgot which one it is. I think. God damn, I don't think they are built anymore, but yeah, these ones were really good.
Jan Lunge just resubscribed for 19 months. Good day, man.
Yeah, welcome on in, welcome back. Thanks a lot for the resub. Appreciate it. 19 months. God damn. Almost a year. The 6 are not. They are better because they fold the right way, but that's about it. The nothing headphones are good, but they look bad to me. So, yeah. What's your budget? Got it. Also, hi. Welcome on it. Welcome back. I hope you're good. Yeah. What's your budget? Because I know there is like another one They have like a very bad design and brand and logo and shit, but yeah. Eh. Depends where you are, get it. Depends where you are. But yeah, no, these ones were really cool. The fact that they had like a ratcheting kind of wheel on the outside for the volume control and the ANC as well was a very interesting thing. I do like them just for that. Uh, Other than that, sound was okay. Um, that's it. And then again, like um, the thing that and the reason why cross keys, the reason why I'm going with these is weirdly enough, these are the best headphones for flight and for loud environment. The ANC on these things are good enough that you don't really recognize that they are here. And if someone starts speaking to you and you speak back, it just goes to transparency automatically, and it works really well. That's what I'm gonna say. And when I'm on a plane, I can speak with the flight attendant and not hear the plane, but hear them speak. And that's so much better than the fucking um, the M4s. So that's the reason. But yeah, they are expensive. Again, like I do that every time because you know I don't have enough. Um, and Tontai, hi, welcome on in. I guess Tontai. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? Thanks a lot for chatting. I appreciate it. It depends on the headphones. I know that some of the headphones that I used to have, like the MX4, are good for my ears. The the ones that I had before that were the oh god damn, they were like a DJ set headphones that were pretty good. That's also a thing that you can take a look at. I don't like IMs. I have a pair somewhere. Uh, Somewhere. I don't like them. It feels weird to me. I'm not used to wires, but they are probably really good for the people that match with that. Um, I don't know if you have the ability to get into shit like this. Toman is a very music friendly related thing, or web store or something. In terms of what we recommend you use is going into the DJ set headphones. So if you don't like or if you don't care about like wireless, that's going to be really good. But if you go into the headsets for DJs, which is some of the thing that we have before, you end up with prices that might be good enough for your budget based on the fact that it is for musicians and therefore it's a bit cheaper sometimes. Sometimes it's a bit more expensive, but these are good. Like the one that I used to have, I don't think I will be able to um, find them again, but like they basically were some of these. Not exactly these ones because these are $26, but yeah, still. And they will be pretty good overall. However, these may have discomfort as like Tentai just said, where because of how not bendable they are and meant for different use cases for less prolonged, like elongated amount of time or prolonged period of times, it might hurt at some point. But yeah, that's a pretty good thing. The IMs are good it's just sometimes it becomes weird for me to just have something that is in my ears. I guess the one that I have are really bad, which makes sense, right? You know. Um, and yeah, glitch. Hi, no, I'm not. I'm a Gelfoy. No, but kind of the same. Yes. I don't know their names. I don't really care because I don't use them, and I forgot where they are. They are probably in a box somewhere. Um, also, glitch. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? Welcome on in. I just can't fucking find the brand, and I can't remember their names, so it's gonna be really hard um, for me to find the fucking brands. But uh, yeah, welcome on in, Chris. How are you? How's everything? But yeah, I used to have like a set of DJ headsets just to make things better. And obviously, I forgot things. Um, I would say don't glitch as someone that isn't a dev. Um, I hate it, but yeah. Um, I don't know the Soundcore headphones though. That's not something that I'm aware of. Um, why did I forget the name? It turns out that the Skull Candy latest release have been pretty good, apparently. So, you know, you'd be surprised for the price. But yeah, I will not find any of the names of what I bought for sure. That is not. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Anyways, uh, but yeah, it was like a DJ set, um, DJ headphone, and they were really good for what they do, and they were really cheap for what they are and were. And I'm guessing um, you can find something in there that's gonna be like pretty good. So you know, maybe try DJ stuff. Could be good. Could be good. Um, have some games I'd like to make third-party apps for. Oh, well, that could be a thing. Um, it again, it's not like the easiest thing to do, but it's not the not easiest thing to do either, specifically now when you have like AI that can help you do stuff. The thing is, um, most of the issues I have now is the fact that things are extremely expensive for what they are. Like the outputs of these things are just not good enough for most of the thing that we are trying to do. And it's a pain in the ass. So if you go through like the thinking and the creation and so on, you will end up with something that is feasible and usable. Like this is the app that I'm building right now, which is working and it does the job. And I'm using AI for the entire thing. Like I'm not, again, I'm not a dev. So, just using things, building stuff, making sure that things work, that we have the instructions we need and so on. And then if I see something specific that I know for a fact I need to change because it just looks like shit, I'm gonna go through that and let's say, um, for example, that view or the imports is the one specific. Um, like I know for a fact that in there, in that view specifically, you end up with things that are, god damn it, you end up with things that are broken, first of all, but also you end up with things that are just not technically good. Um, so yeah, why are you broken right now? Huh. So yeah. Um, and get it, yes. The quality of the code from AI generated code is debatable depending on what you want to do. It's also extremely um limited. No. um Kinda. It is also extremely limited in terms of knowledge because it doesn't have all the knowledge, right? Um it's kind of hard to be up to date, as in right now I've been building this app for iOS 26, meaning that all of the things that I have are supposed to be iOS 26 ready, and iOS 26 is not something that the AI models have documentations for. So, like that's a potential that you're like, god damn, it might be good. But for example, here I know for a fact that the way that the AI has built the thing, and we had a bit of a sub debate last time, is not optimal, and there are stuff in there that are just really bad. Like this section, I forgot if I have the zoom in, but we'll see in a second. Um, like if selected type is CSV, you give me that whole H stack, and otherwise, which is like not CSV, you give me the rest. And the rest is an exact duplicate of the same H stack, basically. And so I know for a fact from myself that we should be using some sort of a ternary operator inside of each of these stacks rather than having them twice, because this is going into the don't repeat yourself um, recommendations or best practice for what it does. Like it just changed the text that is here, so that's just you know like I could 100% just get an if selected types is equal to CSV, then you give me the doc fill, or uh, you give me something else. Like that's the easiest thing. That would basically reduce the amount of code in this block by half. The only issue is this. I have a total entries that is a count that is going to be extracted, but that makes no sense. That whole section technically makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't need to be there. So yeah. Anyways, that's a bit of a derail on my myself from myself. If you want to give it a go, please give it a go. If you want to learn it, the depending on what you want to learn, some of the best options are going to be um, JavaScript right now. Using TypeScript is going to be pretty good. Some of I'm gonna go there because I need to be in full screen when I'm telling you this. If you want to learn code and you tell anyone that is a dev or has a bit of relationship with devs that you want to learn code, every single person that you will talk about will give you a recommendation about what to learn first. And that will confuse the fuck out of you. Not in the slightest. It will confuse you as much as it can, because someone is going to tell you that you need to learn vanilla JavaScript, someone is going to tell you that you need to learn JS and or like React, sorry, or Node or Svelte or Vite or whatever things, and that is annoying to the point where it basically made me stop learning 3 times before I started to do a full course on my own. And even then, I kind of gave up halfway through because of the amount of people around me that were saying, the exact same thing of you should just learn Svelte or Vite or Node or whatever because it's better. So, my recommendation, as always, is to go through a system of ensuring that you learn through the fundamentals first, and then anything that is like an abstraction of would be an easier pass. But if you have the brain power to go through the system of um, anything that is foundational, you should be better as an output. The second thing that I would tell you is to not do what I did, which if you are going to use AI at some point in your learning or in your creation, don't, unless you want to never learn code for real, or at least not good enough. Um, so yeah, that's that would be the best recommendation I have for you, because if you do so, um, yeah, it's a thing. Um, but yeah, it's a thing for me. I think that's the best recommendation. Like, make sure that you are not using anything or following the recommendation of people on the internet, because it's going to be really bad and you're going to end up on things that you just, you know, you care about, but you don't care about it that much. And so, right now, if your issue is the motivation, it just means that the thing that you're trying to build is not really that interesting to you. I know, groundbreaking. But um, if, and I would say I am proof of that, kind of. Um, I'm gonna go there because that makes more sense. Oh goddamn! I've built this. Can is a Japanese language learning app that I have built myself because I needed this thing. I was in need of a vocabulary-based app to help me learn things and vocabulary in Japanese that I was in need of for working and living in Japan. So I started having that idea when I was still in Japan. And then when I came back here, I worked on this thing because I needed more context. I needed more information, more design, more stuff, more whatever. My interest in living in Japan and making sure that I have the tools that are related to um, like the things is the reason why this thing exists. And I I may have a strand of ADHD that is lower than yours, which happens, I know. So I get it. You need to find the ultra hyper focus zone in which you're like, today, today's the day, and that turns out to be a week and not a day. But I get it. Different strands have different effects, depends on people. The thing is, the only reason why this work is because I hyper focused on the app for a month and a half, and after a month and a half, I was done, and I had the app working, and then because I had this momentum and it was on the store, and there were some bugs and things, I continue working on the things. Right now, I'm working on this app, which is a perfume related app, which is an interest of mine, and it is in there to help me like fix one of my current issues around perfume and my perfume collections and things. Like, all of these, I'm testing them. I don't know what I thought about them anymore, and so I'm building the app to make sure that I remember, you know. um but yeah, that's the thing. So, would highly recommend you to ensure that this is something that would like be extremely beneficial in your life to um, to trigger your hyperfocus because that kind of worked. But then again, I know how ADHD and OCD can combat each other, as you said, like that, like devil's parents. Um, but you might be uh, in need of something to rephrase the project because you haven't explained what the project is, and I don't know if you want to, you know. Yeah. Um, but you may be able to frame it a different way for something that makes more sense to you. Um, and but mm, what makes you stress? It's going to be the question. Are you saying not stressing about it, as in not stressing about building the project, or stressing about it as in playing the game and not doing anything else? Um, and also, Cadit, yes, 100%. If you learn the foundation, which is what I call the foundation, and you have the um, concept in your head, I'm using your words because it makes more sense. um, it is easier than to transpose things. So that's basically what I was saying. If you um, the thing that we were talking about on last stream, right? I don't think that's gonna work. Yep, that's what I thought. Uh, can you just connect something? You know? No? Yes? Um, right, I have this, which is for my perfume collection. So basically, what also that padding seems kind of weird. Uh, so I have my collection here, and I can switch from that to that, and then that's exactly the issue. Um, that's normal. Everything is fine. I can switch from the grid view to not the grid view, and so on. You know, the usual. From last stream, what we said was if I just abstracted this thing to not be for perfume, but to be for something else that is of your interest. Maybe you are into books, and I can transpose the concept of having a collection to books. And maybe you are into wine, and you can do the same thing. And so that's like the concept of collecting stuff is very simple. But if you have the concept in mind, it will help you then to just make things. Can this not be there? Thank you. So yeah, um, I'm going to tell you something that might be detrimental to your health. So be careful. But have you tried to burn out? Have you attempted to do everything you wanted to do? Because maybe. No, I know, me too, but you know, sometimes you can burn out more. I'm sorry about that, but it's true. Sometimes you have more in the tank and you can do more, and you can potentially not force yourself, but like basically force yourself to do things in a way that um, helps you achieve stuff. And yeah, And if you are already medicated, maybe change the medication if that's an option, because it might be not the right medication for you at that time or right now or for the season. And yeah, like there is a lot of options where you could change or modify your prescriptions to make sure that you have something that works for you and that helps you do the job. But then again, there is an option and an issue with ADHD medication where the taker of the medicine feels like they lose themselves into the medication and they are not themselves anymore, which I understand. It happens. But yeah, um, it's uh, it's a thing. It could be a medication change nonetheless. But yeah, you could always burn out more and do more stuff. The thing that I'm also pointing out, not really, but kind of in um, what we have in this app specifically, is the fact that overall, so why is this? Yeah, that's broken. That was broken. Um, my day-to-day life is basically in this app. I am on the day-to-day, thinking, working, attempting to do things in this. If I'm outside and on the walk, I'm thinking about it. If I'm in a shop that is related to perfume, I'm trying to test some of the features that I have in there to see if it works in the real world. If I'm somewhere else and I have an ID or I'm buying groceries and so on, my head is on this project 100% of the time. If that's not the case for the rest of the thing that you are trying to do, there might be again a, a lack of interest for the sake of what it means as an underlayer of the reason why you would want to have this project added to the game. Like as you said, you have a game and you want to have like a companion app. Um, it could be something. So yeah, Kyle, hi, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? So that's a very important thing to think about, I would say, to make sure that you're not just building an app because you could, um, and you're building the thing because you want to, which I know sounds like the most generic bitch ass recommendation for ADHD people, but yeah, um, it's a bit different, right? Um, yeah, I know that. Yeah. Yeah, you need to get into the hyper focus. You need to force yourself into the hyper focus in order to focus on the task at hand. And the thing is, you have, I'm guessing, a life, and therefore, if you go in hyper focus, you will lose on the rest, right? That's usually what happens. Um, and you're like, if I force myself to focus on this thing that I want to do, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna work. It's gonna take a bit to just trigger the state. But then when I'm in it, I don't know if I'm gonna eat for 2 days. Um, yeah, I hate it. It might be the it might be the things. So have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your day. Um, so I would say maybe you need like again the different medication. Maybe you need um something that is different that would work. Maybe you need to potentially change the project itself. And no, don't worry. I know how it works. I know how our brains can work at sometimes. So I get it. And it's again probably that, I mean, strangers from the internet are gonna give you recommendations in it and potential tricks that you already have tried, because you know you've been trying to do the things for a long time. So these are things that it comes to my head right now, because I don't have the entire background of information that I would need to very much understand your situation, your willpower on this thing, the amount of brain power it takes you to not be as exhausted as anyone else. Once you do, I don't know, drinking water, for example, it depends on the person. So it's, there is a lot of variables that I don't have access to right now that uh, I can just give you surface level recommendations. So don't worry about it. I understand. But yeah, no, the best option, at least for me, is going to be to get something that is, as you said, you compartmentalize. That's a weird ass word for me. So you might be able or want to flexibly force yourself per day situation. As in, on Monday, I'm supposed to do this. On Tuesday, I'm supposed to do that. On Wednesday, I'm supposed to do that thing. And you try at least as much as you can to not do anything else. It's very hard, specifically if you have something else in the back of your head. But that it's interesting. It's again, I now have a brain issue from working too much, and a heart condition from working too much. So not necessarily worth it. Which, by the way, I forgot to take that today. Um, Thank you for the reminder that, I kind of, hi, work on it. It just turned pink. Just turned pink. But yeah, like that's the type of thing that um, might be important to think about. Um, just by the fact that I work too much, and I think about the work too much, and I was apparently body stressed, but not stressed in my head. Um, it felt like nothing to me, but my body overall shut down, and now I have um, a brain disease and a heart disease. Oh yeah, no, I don't shrimp. I um I have one of my leg that is folded, so that basically forced me to be kind of flat, and then I just change leg. That's usually what happens. Um, but yeah, so uh, can I get into community and role manager? I don't think I can. Role manager? In Figma, you mean? Or you mean looking for roles manager? Um, oh, in Twitch. Oh yeah, no, it's erroring for me too. So yeah, don't worry about it. And yes, it does. It does do something to my hips, which means that I have back pains based on the way that I sit. So yeah, I I know it's not good. It's not good. It is not good. Um, but yeah, I can't sit flat. Like if I have both of my legs down, it's weird. My hips are weird, and I can't necessarily just hold that. So you know, it's yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. Anyways, but yeah, no, that's the thing. So don't burn yourself out too much, but still burning yourself out a bit more might be an option. Um, just for potentially get into a flow that is making sense. Um, Forcing yourself is not the best option, but for us, sometimes it is. So, you know, um, yeah. Have a good look. We had like other things going back to the thing that we talked about last time. So Cramforce, the CTO of Vercel, replied and basically said that this is automations, and there is like a ton of things in there that are really good explanation of why the GitHub charts is just um, you know all green, but like most of the things are green, and every time there is like a greener dot is where his contributions basically appends. So everything that is darker is the weekends kind of thing. Everything that is regular green is regular automations, and then every time he does the commits is these things. So the charts look really, really different from our point of view. So that was pretty cool. In the sense of other things design related, Fractal is I I hate them for being so good. I'm gonna say that. It's gonna stay there. I yeah, everything they've been doing for the past few months, kind of year now, has been so good. Specifically in the terms of product design. So just go there. They've been working on all of their cases, and all of their case to me are extremely, extremely cool, good looking. They now have a fucking chair that is really nice. They have a headset that is also extremely good, design wise. Again, designer here. They have fans for the internals, water cooling that are really well made, PSUs for some fucking reasons, and then other accessories for inside of your case for your PCs. They've been adding so much stuff, and I'm like this close to fucking buy one of these just to test it out. The only reason why I'm not buying these is because they are um, basically plugged to your PC and you can't use them with your phone. So I just have the base that's plugged to my Mac, and then I receive that's the receiver export type thingy, whatever. So it's kind of not as good. You can still use them with your phone at times, but like it's not going to be the same like latency and so on. So I would rather use the stand slash box slash things. But yeah, uh, what do you mean? How do they know people will buy these products? It's Fractal. Fractal has been doing cases. So um, Fractal has started with um, PC case, I think. Um, I think they started with case. They did some of the H1 very known for, and then like the torrent is one of them that has kind of blew out in a way because they have three sizes and it makes a lot of sense. And so because the target audience or the customer base that they already have is gamers, but gamers with a sense of aesthetic, right? You end up with, let me see if I can just, just go in case. Can I just go in case? Um, right. They started with this one that basically was a sense of aesthetic, and then they went into other things with wood, with very cool colors, and lately with a bit more glass and so on. And so, if you are a gamer with a sense of aesthetic, you are going to enjoy having some sort of a unified setup for your gaming activities. So, with that, you then kind of need a chair. And the chair itself is going to be uh, good or bad, it depends, but whatever. It has the colors that would potentially match with. I know that they have a preview of a green one. I love the green one. And so that's the user base, the custom base, the people that are currently buying the things are um well, gamers. And so from there, if you are a gamer, you want like low latency headsets for your games. So you go here and you buy this as well because it matches with your chair, which matches with your tower, your PC, and so on. And then maybe you are looking for things to put in your case. So you need like a PSU that is good enough. So you maybe go buy that. Maybe you need some fans to cool your computer. You need some water cooling for your CPU. And that's basically what happens. So that's how they know. They basically started with the case, and then they put some of the parts of the case, and then they go outside from the desk. If we go to Secret Lab, which is like my chair, it's kind of the same thing. They started with chairs because they need like a gamer chair type of situation. And then since 3 years ago, I think, they added or created this thing, which is their desk. And their desk is amazing. It makes a lot of sense for gamer-oriented platform to release a gamer-oriented desk. And then from there, they added monitor arms and organization trays and other things that are based to work with said desk in a way that makes sense. And it does, and they do it really well. And so that's basically how they know. They have the coordinates is gamers, and therefore once they have the coordinates of gamers and streamers, they then check what they do, um, like what the customer base is doing, and then you provide things. Like for example, if I had like a customer base, which is not my case, but let's say you are, as the viewer, are my customer base, right? You have an interest, which is either into dev, design, uh, or regular aesthetic things, right? Because that's what we're talking about here. If I were to release something that is related to the designer journey, I don't know. I'm interested in mouse pads. Never gonna happen. And I design my own mouse pad um, layout with like the illustration things. That could be something that is interesting to you as a design dev, whatever, because you need a mouse pad. It's easier and so on. So if I created something with my logo on it and a cool design or something, could work. Could work. If I were to create a sketching pen, right? For taking notes or making sure that you can draw your sketches and your UX flows in no time with, I don't know, something that makes sense. That could be interesting. If I were to build my own design software based on all of the communication and discussion that we've had in the past, that could be a very interesting thing because my user base being designers and developers, if I build something that is like Figma plus VS Code together, for example, which will never happen, there is an interest. There is a point of reference that makes sense. That's basically the thing. And the reason why that works is because you know the audience, you know the customer base, you know everything about your customer base usually, which gives you a bit of a hint of what could be good. Right now, I'm expanding my customer base potential by adding this to the system, right? Having something that is perfume related is going to be expanding the customer potential. So if you are into perfume, you are into like aesthetic things, and you are a designer that is into perfume, that is into aesthetic things, there is a probability for you to potentially be interested in this. But probably not. It depends. If you are a designer or dev, the probability of you being interested in Japan is also a certain amount. And so, me building an app that gives you the ability to learn Japanese vocabulary easily is some sort of a customer acquisition based system that, can work. So, that's the thing. But yeah, that usually you have your initial trigger of community slash customer base, and based on that, you expect. So that's the thing. That's how you know. So for Fractal specifically, it's going to be they know gamers or people that have PCs. Like the Fractal being a case manufacturers, the people that are buying cases for PCs are a very selective cast of nerds. So you already know that anything that is in the nerds territory is going to be okay. And then you limit, or they limit themselves to aesthetic nerds, which is like very, very limited, which is similar to these ones. If you've been on here before, if you've been on the internet before, NZXT is also like a very similar um, brand. To me, they started with Case, and then from Case they added motherboards, and then they added fans and coolers. I think they did coolers first and then motherboards. But that's the thing that is like, it makes sense. You buy a case, therefore you are building your own PC. And then what do you need for your own PC? Well, you need a motherboard. So we'll build the motherboards to put inside of your case because it makes sense. And the fact that we as NZXT are building like an aesthetic case, again, like very clean, very good for airflow and so on, I mean, depending on the case, it makes sense for us to build something that is going to be inside, but also is going to match the aesthetic of said case. So this bitch, for example, is one of the cleanest motherboards that I've seen, just because it has this shroud on top of the content, right? That's about it. Well, it's enough for me to be tempted and just buy the thing and then put it in my case, because I am like part of the target audience for this. So, yeah. If you get like something that is a bit different, as in abstracted but potentially good, going back to some of the analogy that we used earlier, if you are going into a sushi restaurant, for example, um, you you are there and the meal is really good, you really enjoy your time. It's some sort of a makase situation where you have the chef that is behind the counter and is giving you like the sushi and the things, whatever. You see him work, you see him do its things. The potential that they have is sell knives, because the customers will see the chef do things. They cut so well, they do things so well, and so on. there could be some sort of an emotional link in between uh, the person that is eating and the knife themselves, and they will be like, "Wow, it looks so good. Let me buy a knife." That's an option. You could have um, like chopsticks. You could have plates. You could have other things related to the sushi experience because it is based on the customer base. So that's a thing that they can do. Yeah, that was a long rambling for the explanation, but yes, that's the idea. This one looks interesting. This is interesting. They also everything is fucking out of stock. That's crazy. I am blown away by the fact that everything is out of stock. But yeah. Anyways, moving on to this because we are still midway through. We haven't gone through. Techie, if you are far away but still there, this one was kind of for you because it looks really good, and I feel like this is something that you would be interested in. That shader, I don't know how they made it, but it looks really good. And yeah, I hope this thing is a gyroscope based shader and not like a video that just loops. But golly, that is a cool ass button. Cool ass button. Um, so we've had other things. This one was pretty fun. Basically, they've used the suspension of the car to match with the game that they are playing inside of the car. And so you get haptic feedback based on what happens. It's kind of weird because you are looking at the screen on the side and then you have the steering wheels in front of you. But I feel like this is a very interesting concept for immersive games. Anyways, that animation was really cool. That's about it. Nothing more than that. Um, this one was really interesting in terms of the illustration type and style. I feel like this is something from 2022. 2022, 2023, we had like a lot of illustration of this type pop in. It's also very PCB coded. The fact that it is like green, gray, silver, and gold on the entire thing is pretty PCB coded to me. So I like this. I liked this. Um, and that brought back in, going back to what we were talking about earlier. Um, and then that person was saying that the current state of this kind of fun tech is the disposable Chinese vapes. And that's kind of true. The fact that in some of the vapes that I've seen, we have games, we have Tamagotchis, similar things that are just like full on computers and phones that you can just, have and use. So, yeah, that's a that's the thing. We had more cats. I'm gonna give you a bit of cats. That's necessary. That needs to happen. Needs to happen. You know. That also techie that was mostly for you. The apparently the SDK of Expo 54 contains liquid glass. So if you wanted to have like liquid glass related stuff, you could potentially have uh, stuff in Expo. So that's pretty cool. But you know, testable and so on. Um, this one was interesting. That person is saying that they are walking around Tokyo with their PSP and the GPS node attached and still working. I don't know how it works, but that's something that would be, I would say, impossible from a tech that comes out today. I doubt that 20 years from now, some of the tech that we have today in terms of devices would still work. So, you know, details and so on. This is something that I kind of wanted to talk about. It's been a while since I haven't, or since I have seen these, but also we haven't really touched on that. These are a very specific type of illustrations, and specifically that button in the first one is the reference that I'm having. These are flat, not flat, like kind of new flat illustrations and UI that are making a comeback because they are a combination of the Tokyo illustration that we're talking about all the times and also the initial wave of flat design from designers that were used to skeuomorphic design. So people like me that were doing things that were really like bouncy and bubbly and so on. And then we moved to flat and we were like, well, this is kind of boring. Let me add some stuff. Let me add some small details, some tiny highlights here and there to make sure that we understand the physicality and the relationship in between the elements and so on. And so that is kind of the same illustration types. So interesting. But that's about it. I forgot who talked about the event realities last time, but they apparently have a new build. Or maybe I'm making a mistake. If you don't know what that is, these are smart glasses that give you the ability to get like a screen and other things um, in front of you, so you can see things. It's in front of both of your eyes, and you just have um, cool content. I do like it. I do like them a lot. They are not that expensive. They are $600. They are not that expensive. But for the form factor, for what they can do, and the fact that they don't have like a tether with a battery or something, that is really impressive. So that's about it. That's the main thing. Potentially acquisition at some point. I don't know. I doubt it. We'll never know. We'll see. We will see. Um, that was the perfume related thing that I was talking about. This is an AI generated platform or AI based things made with Kimi apparently. So it seems pretty good. Kimi has been really nice of a model to understand files. It's been known for parsing files, parsing long files, and understanding their content in a way that just makes sense. But yeah, that website about perfume is pretty interesting. The images have been generated, the website has been generated entirely, and that is pretty impressive. There are things in there that I was thinking about implementing in the app in the beginning, and then I gave up. So I might revisit that at some point. We never know. We never know. Um, this one was just for Blender. You don't really care about that. You don't know about that. Um, and that was pretty true. I think we talked about this before of should designers code, going back to the should I code question, that maybe. But that answer is pretty true. The yes, and you should also know how to write, research, sell, market, and so on. And basically, the reason for that is if you're a designer in any situations, you will have the ability to serve the client in a way that is more tailored to them if you understand the rest of the business practices, including your own. But mostly when someone is going on to ask you to build them an app or website or something, and they are a plumber. I don't know why that is what popped in my head, but that happens. if you understand how to do the research and understanding the market regarding plumbers, you might be able to provide a better experience from the designer point of view to the plumber themselves, to or compared to someone that doesn't really know how to do the research and the understanding of the market based on the research and so on. So all of these things, even the first ones are the most important one for designers. The rest of running a business, creating other things, hiring other people, managing people, if that's the thing, these are skills that will benefit you all the time or as long as you're alive. So we do like this, and I would highly recommend you to do that if you can. Again, as always, best option for you to potentially achieve and acquire these skills really quick is to get into an agency job. If you're a designer in an agency, you will need to do the writing, the research, not the selling, not the marketing, the creating video potentially if you want to promote to the clients, legal stuff potentially, but usually no. The customer service all the time, running the business, which is basically the business of your design teams. Creating art is going to be creating illustrations and art piece that are going to be inside of your projects, managing your project that makes sense, analyzing the data, which is based on the research and the market. Accounting, you don't care about that. Fundraising, you don't care about that. Building a slide, you need that for the presentation to the clients. And then hiring and manage. Hiring, no, but managing people, yes. If they are in your teams in the agency, you will basically learn. So on all of these, maybe 6 of them are not necessarily like useful to you, and you can learn that on the side. But if you're in an agency, you will not have to do 90% of this. So highly recommend. Highly recommend. Anyways, we've had things that we kind of talked about earlier. So the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max from Xiaomi have been really interesting. The thing that I'm seeing, again, going back to the fact that this one, the Redmi Note 13 Pro, that's a name, has a similar back. Not exactly the same, but like a similar back with a different camera. I do like that design, specifically the green one, obviously. And yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. This point was really true if you was thinking about like upgrading your phones this year. The 17 is better than the 17 Pro when it comes to the scratch resisting off the case and off the back being still glass compared to the Pro being aluminum and having so much like stain on in the store is kind of impressive. But also there is another point about this being like the 17 regular models are this year the best option, and they are better than the Pros. Like unless you need the bigger battery for some reason, the 17 is good enough. So yeah. That's what I'm doing next month. I'm trying to. I'm gonna try to not do another app, but we never know. We never know. This was kind of impressive. Grace, to answer your question, what blew me away? That kind of blows me away. So yeah, Kaneki, hi, welcome in. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? Thanks for the first message. That's kind of crazy. So the latest Xiaomi has a 7,000 milliamp hours battery, which is 3 times as much as the iPhone Air. You know, I get it. I get it. I say fuck a lot, as you know, that happens, and yeah, that's part of the 18 plus high profanity, and we talk about porn all the time, so it happens. But welcome in. Welcome on in. So yeah, this is really impressive in terms of battery capacity. The fact is, the phone itself is the same size, so I'm really impressed by what they have done.
Kaneki_Skywalker is now following.
Thanks a lot for the follow. I appreciate it. Your name combination of Tokyo Ghoul and Star Wars is impressive in my head. If Kaneki's coming from Tokyo Ghoul, if you are coming from another Kaneki, then that's fine. But yeah, that's the connection that my brain did, and it's like, god damn. That's a crazy combination. Um, this one was kind of fun. And apparently everyone is hating on Xander again, which is good and bad at the same time. And a lot of people have been explaining to Rio exactly why that's the thing. And like this one is, I would say, the main reality reasons why that's the case. The fact that he is now a course person, he's selling course board design, but we don't know and we haven't really seen like what he's done in the past. And as he said, like nobody really hates on Matt or Red because we know and we have seen the past works of the designers, so it helps us. But then Zender, we have a bit of a harder time knowing, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. He is a very successful course man right now, but still, to think. Techie, this is still for you. It's crazy that, you know, every time you go on the lurk spree, all the things that I have for you are in the feed, which is kind of not the good timing. But yeah, this was like a pretty interesting presentation for a feed or a different format and for your circles, specifically based on the fact that you could have the amount of messages inside of said circle, with the latest one being at the top and rotating. This is a very, very powerful move that you could take for Kyoto, but you know, could, just could. I saved this one for one reason, which is this. We talked about this before. The fact is, right, they are sharing these 4 images, and these 4 images are presenting work that apparently they have made themselves, right? And I'm doing and saying apparently for a lot of reasons. This one, specifically this one, is the dot app. I don't even know if I can find the fucking thing, and I'm gonna go directly in my profile because it will make more sense. Dots has created or has made this. That's their design from 2021, 2020. I forgot. I don't want to say it's the exact same thing, but it is the exact same thing. Like, it's almost in the exact same spot, it's almost the exact same rotations, and it's almost the exact same placements of things. And then if you go back into the real presentation that they have, it looks the exact same. And they also had at some point, I hope we can find it, I doubt it. They also had at some point the folders, which was like kind of similar, but not exactly. It's not this one, but it's like very much similar to what this one has done. And you know, the fact that this is sold as my design, I'm like, Anyways, moving on. Again, this is designer related stuff, so it makes sense, right? We are inspired by other things, and therefore you will have um, other people doing similar things. But this one was so much I have seen that before situation, and then the others are similar, but like this is too basic for what it is to make sure that I have seen this before. This is like such a classical element that I have seen so many times that it doesn't count. Same thing here. This is the only one that stands out, and this is the only second that is interesting because it has like a curved carousel situation, but that's not much. But yeah, that was an interesting thing. Anyways, the liquid glass thing that I was talking about in the beginning of the stream, this is basically what happens. So when you are rotating liquid glass, it's just double in size. And I don't really understand. I, yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. If you have like a glass container, and I don't think I have anything that I can potentially start from here really quickly. Did I save this thing? I, I kind of didn't. It's probably going to take ages to load. Yeah. Should I on this one? I forgot if that's an option. That's not an option. Yeah. I don't think the glass effect is going to go through if I do that. Yeah, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. Anyways, if you rotate it, let's see if it works. Ah, fuck, I forgot. Dang. Yeah. So it 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 doesn't like being rotated, and it's kind of weird because it makes no sense. At zero, you're good, and then you just you know it it grows in a way that makes no sense, and I really don't understand why that's a thing. And then I tried to kind of understand it better by having basically the whole thing encapsulated into an H stack to get the container being like a sub container and so on, and then having the rotation effect on that thing. You missed so many things. Um, and like, god damn. I forgot how to write this thing every time. I never know. We just wrote it, by the way. It makes no sense. Damn, god damn. What am I missing? Yeah, and that's the same shit. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. None. Yeah, it's just so weird. It's so weird. Uh, can you though, Stony? I don't think you can because I don't have the enhanced broadcasting enabled, so I think you can't. But I might be wrong. Um, apparently I am, which is good. Um, anyways, moving on, moving back. So, Tiki, I have so much things for you. We moved on to other things. Uh, we had, where is it? We had this one that was for you specifically. Um, I don't know exactly how they made it. I don't know if it's a shader or a looped video. It looks like a shader based on how it reacts with the edges, but it looks really cool. And I feel like this is something that could be pretty interesting based on the color scheme that you have on Kyoto. You know, that's really nice. So that's the first one that I had for you specifically. The second one is in here. The Expo 54 now has liquid glass related tab things. Not necessarily the best option, but you know, if you wanted to go through Expo and still like have some of the iOS 26 support, uh, that's pretty cool potentially. So you know, yeah, could be interesting for you. The other last kind of thing, I forgot if it was you that talked about the glasses, but these ones are cool still. Like they are. Uh, no, I think it was James. It doesn't matter. I think these are their newest version, but yeah, these are cool. You had uh, one more thing, one more thing that we stopped on right about. Nope. This one is with Expo as well for the preview thing. And I feel like this is pretty interesting for Kyoto for circles. If you had like a long press preview the community, then you have a bit of interaction possible, like an element. Um, so that would be an interesting thing. Um, and yes, and then this is, uh, I think, really interesting. Yeah. Um, so this is like the feed of all the circle, as I was saying, um, and then you can have the latest messages that are showing up in there. Not necessarily the spinner. That I don't think that's a good idea, but yeah. Um, the genie got set free by. I mean, the genie was Tomscat. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know, which is fine. So that person said DMR archive might be the new ASDF movies slash Tomscat, and therefore Tomscat got released. So it was fun. We like it. We like it. We like it. We talked really quickly about the Xiaomi 17 Pro. I mean, just 17 that has like 7,000 milliamp hours battery, which is like 3 times the iPhone Air. So, you know, that is impressive. We like it. And then we were talking about this. This one is really, well, impressive as well. Not blown away, but impressed. the fact that you can now generate an image once, it will detect the object, and then you can move things in the scene. It's pretty impressive. And then it's just additive transitions. So the ball is still in the back, the tapioca tea is still in the front. And so you can, like just that's extremely, extremely useful. Again, this is like coming at Photoshop, as we said, but the speed and the continuity that we didn't have before that we now have is really impressive. So yeah, that's the thing. Today, yes, I replied to a code-related tweet. So yeah, this thing, yeah, this is like Expo-based stuff. Maybe you've done the same thing. More cats. I'd, you know, I mandatory cats in the feed. I can't. It needs to be there. It needs to be there. I need to stop, take a drink. It happens. Letting you appreciate the cat. I mean, no, you can post about it. You can post about it. These ones we talked about them before. That's the specific case in question that we were talking about. It's pretty interesting, but also it's not. It's fun. That's it. Yeah. The that's the Huawei interface, and it looks very much like an iPhone, which is really good. The fact that now, again, I've talked about that before, and I'm a big fan of Chinese manufacturers in general. So since Huawei has been banned from the US and doing business with the US for privacy concern in 2020, 2021 technically, they've been building things not on top of Android because it's US based, but on top of their own operating system, which is basically a like reverse engineered Android version. Anyways, the shit they have created is on par, if not better, than the Apple ecosystem for everything. Their animation are as good, if not better. The pairing in between their devices, like the phone, the headphones, the computers, everything is as good, if not better. And they have like all of the Chinese tech in there that makes it even better than what we have access to because they are unshackled by any limitations. I don't think any of us would be able to survive with one of these phones. Like, it makes no sense. We don't have really Google apps in there. You don't have anything that is available. If I were to go to China for a long vacation, for example, I would probably buy a Huawei phone by default just to be able to get anything that is Chinese related pre-installed, pre-organized, and optimized for what I'm living with. But yeah, the only thing that I hate about what they are building is the fucking camera. I don't understand why and how. Also, that's a very interesting thing. I really don't understand why their phones and their cameras are so bad. Look at that. Look, look at that. That weird triangle thing. I don't understand. There's so much corner radius issues for a designer right here. I don't get it. Other than that, the phones are amazing. That's the only gripes I have with this. Um, it turns out that this was an NFT release, and I didn't know. Um, so these illustrations are NFT, and they are available on OpenSea apparently, which is pretty cool. If you're into NFT and crypto and stuff, and you like these illustrations, maybe go fetch one out. I don't know, you decide. But yeah, I like them. That's it. That's all I have to say with this. Flighty have a new design. We talked about that as well. This illustration was really cool. Again, going back to what Darius is doing for the latest illustration, there has been a lot more interesting concept that has popped up from his feed, or at least from my point of view. So these ones are, I guess, the initial point that then generated this. And there has been like other things in the past that we've talked about, which are going into a direction that seems to be way different than what he used to do, or what we have seen from him in the past. So that's cool to see, and it's nice to have some differences in some other things. These are not illustrations, but yeah, they look neat. They look neat. Let me just like this as well. Apparently native win is on version 5, and that's really impressive because the last time I saw that was, I feel like at the beginning of the year I heard about it, right? If you don't know what it is, native wind is Tailwind support for Swift UI or for native apps. And so you have things that are basically class abstraction, similar things. I'm really interested in potentially learning how it works. But yeah, it's really promising, and the speed is really impressive. So, like that's the thing. Apparently I didn't follow them. So yeah. Good stuff. But yeah, that's about it for Twitter. That's a lot of content. We have a lot of other things on Threads. There are stuff that I saved for you, Tiki specifically. Again, there are things for Yan as well, and there are some titties, so you can't see that. We would buy this instantly. I don't think there is any person that is into the iPhone ecosystem that is a designer that is not complaining about the colors every year. And every year there is someone that is building a mock-up of the colors that they would like to see. And we have seen deep purple, we have seen red for product red, some forest green, and so on. This one would be the choice for sure. For sure. No questions. There was something that made me laugh so much, which is this. Japan has beat France to win the Coupe du Monde, the like World Cup of Bakery, and they did win by creating this bakery. This is a patisserie, right? What made me laugh so much? They are so happy. They love what they did. The French, on the other end, are pissed. And that is so good. And the fact is, I think these are Thai. I forgot, but they are extremely happy as well. And to me, what that means is just the French are so used to win every year that they were expecting to win, and they just got dethroned, and I'm really happy with that. Anyways, small details. Small detail. There's been this one as well, which is a very, very powerful thing. This one is not the one in question, but there has been this creation of an AI generated effect for your environment. So you take like a piece of paper, you drop it down, and it transforms into a fish. And then that person just created this for real, which I think is pretty cool. But that initial transition is really, really impressive. So, yeah, I have the full thing a bit lower in the feed, if I can find it. Sorry, I'm held with Threads regular loading. I wish Threads had some sort of a, how do I call that? Player. Yes, player control. Player control would be an amazing thing to have. Nope. You want some titties? There. Not titties. That's the one in question, so that's gonna make a lot more sense. That's also something that is really important. I'm gonna go through all of these because it makes sense. I don't know if this is true. We're gonna see in a second. And then that's ass. It's good ass, but that's ass. I could stay there though. The thing that I have, this one is really, really impressive. This is like a whole knitting thing, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. And it's a grilled cheese with eyes, and it's really impressive for specifically when it's not cut. I'm really impressed by what they have done. So, cool hobby. Cool hobby. This is the thing in question that I was talking about. So they have the talismans, they have the things, and it just turns into the fish. What I love about it is that it removes the paper on the side. Like it really abstracts the content, and I'm really impressed by that. But again, I don't know if it's like through VR or if it's really just an AI edition on top of. We have no clue. But it looks cool. It looks cool. So yeah. Going back to some of the thing that I said earlier about the design that looked like another design. Obviously, I'm not the first one to do something like this. But you know. Yeah. So for me specifically, right, if I go into a verb, if I have a verb, and I go into my conjugation section, it's a bit of a similar thing. It's not exactly identical, obviously, because they have a wheel and they have other effects and stuff. But you know, it's similar. That's fun. That's fun to see, to have like people trying these new rotating slash arched selectors. I feel like this is something that's gonna make sense for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm waiting to see someone try to recreate this though. I don't think the app is popular enough to be able for someone to just see this and be like, oh cool, I need to do this. But yeah, I would love to see someone try and do it better than me. That would be so good, so that I can have like a reference of someone that does the things properly. Anyways, apparently, I don't know if that's true, but that might be true. I don't know if YouTube really has like changed their alignment of content, and if that's the case, we now have liquid glass be liquid ass again. I don't know if that's true. I doubt it, but we never know. Um, yeah. Anyways, and lastly, we had that techie that's mostly for you, I would say, kind of. This is a very interesting way of rendering the per circle color scheme, and I feel like this is something that would be potentially positive for you in terms of the post or the rules or something inside of a circle. If you had something that is on par, on theme at the top, like a message model, something, you know, it looks cool. It's interesting. Going back to what I said 6 weeks ago, no, 5 weeks ago, Korean designers are currently adding and adding and adding glow to everything, and it's really interesting to see. So, you know, if you want to be a bit ahead of the curve, potentially adding a bit of glow to your elements might be the way. That is doing like very much similar thing. We talked about that before, and there are like most of the non light mode things, you don't really see the glow, but as soon as we have their design inside of a dark mode thing, you can see that these buttons have a bit of glow around them that are not, they are there, but they are not like that visible on regular um, light mode things. So, you know, glow on stuff seems to be a trend for Koreans and Chinese, but mostly Korean. So, you know, now you know. Now, you know, most of these things are just like glowy all the time. So that's a trend. That is a pattern. That's the thing that I've noticed. But yeah, um, that's about it. Look at that, glowing. All right, I think that's all the thing. Um, yeah, I think that's all the thing. I'm gonna have to do other things for sure, like prepare other things. But yeah, good UX design portfolio. Huh. Not just UX. Most of the time, it's a combination of both, obviously. Like, you know, um, I I want to send Marco because Marco makes sense. Um, Second, answering to work. Not work, but work. I mean, you always have that ability, right, to come here and look at portfolios. That's the usual thing. That's the usual recommendation if you just need some inspiration for portfolios. But if you're looking for like specifically UX related portfolios, it's going to be more complex because it's UX focus are not visual focus most of the time, and therefore you end up with some issues. I doubt that GK would be here. Yeah, it was the kids. GK has a portfolio that is like really UX based, so it's not that visuals, but there have been some very cool visuals in there. I Yeah, I'm gonna still Marco you as always. This is a bit of a stretch for a UX portfolio. You know, bit of a stretch, but still. Um, this makes sense from my point of view as a UX case study related stuff and the UI case study related stuff. So in the .os, for example, that's a very visual focused case study. So it starts with this, where you have like a storytelling with everything that is supposed to happen. This is like a full page of explaining, and then there is like a ton of information that is mostly UX related, decision based, and output or outcome based explanation, which is pretty good. And you have like all of that. This is a very, very, very massive um, project case study things, right? If I go into takeout, for example, that's more of a UI based portfolio where that's the information, and then that's all you get. You don't get anything else. You get this, and there are some teeny tiny interactive elements, and you know it's fun and so on, and you can interact with the prototype and shit, but that's it. And then you can read the case study if you want to, which is like way more complete, and in there is like a ton of UX research and so on, which is probably what you're looking for to explain the project and so on. Again, this is like a small case study. this is this is my massive, right? But like most of the things is on Marco's website directly are going to be similar to what I just shared, which is like a small information and some visuals to help you understand, and that's about it. And then sometimes for .os specifically, you have like a case study, but that's not all the times, and most of the times it's like limited. So it depends. Marco is really good for the big case studies. And then it's also really good because the entire website has some sort of sound-based interactions and so on. Yes and no, mostly no than yes. So as someone that hire people, hire designers, I don't read shit. I want to see things work. That's the thing. So if you tell me that's live, perfect. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna take a look. This one has been killed, therefore I'm gonna read the case study probably. Um, if you're telling me that, you know, um, this is live and this is available, I'm gonna check that. But that's my main, at least from my point of view as a hiring person, I'm gonna look for something that exists, something that is live. So if I go into, obviously biased on this one, but if I go there and I have this, the fact that I may have like a link to give you access to the thing is going to be really good. Right now, that's not the case. If I go into um, another website of mine and there is like a link that sends you to the original website or the App Store page of something, you can then download the app and see how it works. As a designer hiring person, I'm going to look for that. Reading this is already too much. It's better than the previous one, but it's already too much. Like this one is, to me, again, when I'm going through hiring a new designer for the team, I'm going through their website and I'm scrolling through that. And then if something in here is eye-catching, I'm gonna click on that. And so I think we have. I think we have. And so maybe I'm gonna click on something, read stuff, and be done with it, and then say, well, that's a short list. This one is gonna be good, and we can move on. If it's something that is like longer than this amount of text, my time is not worth reading at the beginning stage of um, of hiring someone. So again, going back here, if I'm loading the website and I'm seeing this and I see this and I'm like, okay, cool, that seems to match my vibe for the type of person that I want to hire. Shortlisted, on the side, moving on to someone else. Not shortlisted, close the tab, and so on. Right? That's the usual behavior, at least for me. And then once I have 5, 10 potential candidates that looks pretty good, based on their first impression that is right here, I'm gonna go there and go on the first fucking project. And then look at the project and see, is there something in there that match with what I'm trying to achieve in terms of what I'm looking for in a designer? If that's the case, shortlist it again. And maybe I'm gonna go back, look at another, maybe they have like a video, like it's my case, and looking at how things work, how they speak, if that's something that is important. Or maybe look at another project and see, and like the usual thing. Very, very simple, but that is the way of me hiring someone. However, the thing that I've noticed is that if you are applying to companies that are kind of big companies, they are using hiring managers and hiring or headhunters that are not part of the companies or external, like contractors, and they don't know shit. They have no fucking clue what the company is looking for. They have no clue what you would work in, and it's just so bad because you end up with someone that you are supposed to convince to hire you, or at least to move you to the next step, when they don't understand a single thing that you're about to do, and they will not be able to answer a single question or know if what they have in front of them is good or not. So for these people, they will never read a single thing. It's mostly going to be a vibe check of the resume looks interesting and the vibe of their portfolio, if we're looking for designers, is the vibe that I want to have or that I have in my candidate sheets situations. That's it. So most of the times, from what I've seen from hiring people, I am not going through a case study. I'm going through the work as fast as I can because I'm basically going through 50 to 100 portfolios in an hour, if that not like maybe more sometimes, um, to just find someone that makes sense and work for me, or makes sense to work for me in the future and so on. So let me just give you a bit of an idea of how things work. If I'm getting like multiple people, that looks pretty different. God damn it. So, right, I land here. I see what they do. I see a bit of work. I'm like, cool, shortlisted. I don't need a scroll. That's first instinct. I move to the next one. I see this. This is interesting. It looks pretty curated. I might scroll a bit. I see things that match with the type of shit that I want to have. Shortlisted. I'm going here. I don't see much. I scroll down. I'm like, cool. So they are mostly doing some branding based on what I can see. That's not exactly what I'm looking for. I will just close the page. This caught my eyes, but I can notice that the layout is really simple. What is next? We have some really cool micro interactions. We are looking for someone that is pretty good in animation. So yes, I can shortlist that. Once that's done, I'm going to go back to the first one and then I'm going to say, do we have more details in there? Do we have a page situation? We don't. Cool. We have way more stuff underneath. That's interesting. We don't have a lot of definition or explanation of what happened in here, but it is result driven and outcome driven rather than what we did. So that's pretty good. Shortlisted as well. Cool. So I'm continuing on the facts. And then here I can go through things. I'm seeing that they are mostly going to give me something that is interesting, kind of grunge for the branding, if that's the thing that we are wanting to do. Technically, it's really cool for me as a personal user, but that's not exactly what we're looking for as a hiring person. So I'm going to move on. And I'm going back to the last one. I'm seeing this. I'm going into the case studies. I'm going to not read because that's not what I do. See things, seems pretty good. There is micro interactions. I'm kind of good with that. I feel like the design, the output, the attention to the details so far seems to be pretty good. There's nothing that seems out of place. There is some issues with the radius, but that's just me. And once I'm at the bottom, I'm like, cool. I know that this one is probably like a shortlisted end of situation, so I'm just gonna, like do that, and then maybe have both things, bitch, side by side to check like portfolio A, portfolio B, and then based on what I can see, let me go to another project because this one has a different vibe in between different projects, which is pretty interesting and pretty good. And that person also has uh, very much different vibes. So these two are shortlisted, and therefore I'm contacting both of them for potentially getting a job. Um, because they have applied and I've received these two and I'm like, these are the two that are like standing out and being good. So yeah, like it again, it took me 5 minutes maybe, but that's all it takes. I didn't read a single fucking line. The only thing that I read was, I'm Jack, over 10 years of experience. That's it. And then he, visual and product designer. That's the only two things that I read for this entire presentation that I just did. It's based on visuals if I'm acting as a hiring manager. And if I'm hiring as a designer, reviewing a designer, I will go more in depth into, well, there's some issues. Can I see some padding mistakes? Can I see some choices that I would not have made? Can I see things that are like really out of place for the brand that I'm working with and so on. But most of the time, um, for the hiring manager, it's going to be instant as I just did. So it is important to have both, and I'm going to use the usual. I am going to do the same thing that you are all waiting for. Best in class, Denny's portfolio, specifically his actual presentation of the VidMount project, is what you are expecting, or what I would be expecting as a hiring person if they are going into step 2 or stage 2, because that's their first project. So I'm gonna click on that, and information about the product itself, visuals, reasoning, visuals, and then if I'm reaching somewhere around here, I'm like, okay, cool. And then there is, oh, okay, so there is like more. There is the user insight and market research that happens. And I have like the whole thinking system, which is more UX related. And then there is the visual cues, and then there is the research, and then more eye candy at the end to explain what happens, where things are, and so on. That entire thing is exactly what I would be looking for if I was more on the second to third step in the hiring process, to just make sure that the person has enough background, enough understanding of project and content to be able to be hired in the company. Just because right there is like so much research, so much good things, um, that makes sense. And then if I'm more of a visual person and we are hiring like a visual person, I'd be an annoying bitch and be like, well, this padding is not exactly the same. There might be a bit of an issue with the amount of spacing in between the elements. Well, at this point, that's just like me being me. And that's not like me being a hiring person. So, yeah. But that's roughly it of how things work for me, hiring persons. So, yeah, debatable. Potential, you know. It's a thing. It's a thing. But that's how fast it goes, or how fast it should go in 90% of the hiring flows for most people. Most hiring people that are like external to a company, they will just look for visual cues and be like, oh, cool, that looks cool. What does it do? I don't fucking know. But it's just, it looked cool. Um, and the resume was pretty nice or aligned with what you are looking for and so on. So that's the situation. That is the situation. Um. Hmm. Hmm. Clark is probably going to end up soon, to be honest. Um. Yeah, that's the thing. Huh. I don't know. I don't know. I guess. Stony, we have anyone? Do you have anyone specifically, or otherwise? It's gonna be specific. Good choice. Good choice. Um. Yeah, I pressed the button. So yeah, thanks a lot for being here, as always. If you want to watch the VOD for some reason, it's gonna be on YouTube and saved there. And yeah, if you want to ask question when I'm not live, you can join the Discord. That's free. Um, and yeah, if you want to learn Japanese, as always, Can is pretty good. If you want to give me some money, you can buy a UI kit or sub. But buying a UI kit is a bit better. And yeah, I'll see you on soon. I see you on Monday if all goes well. And yeah, as always, eat something, drink something, be kind to each other. And I need a pee, so we're gonna raid fast. Take care of yourself. Bye.